Well, hello, friends, and welcome back to the No More Perfect podcast. If you are one of the 20 million readers of the 5 love languages, you already know that love isn't one size fits all. But our guests today say knowing someone's love language isn't enough. Real connection happens when you master their dialect, and that's the personal, powerful way that your partner uniquely receives love. That's when love moves from routine to remarkable for both of you. Doctors Les and Leslie Parrott are psychologists and #1 New York Times bestselling authors of numerous books, including Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. They've been featured on Oprah, The Today Show, Good Morning America, and a variety of other media outlets. Welcome to the No More Perfect podcast, Les and Leslie.
Thanks, you guys. Good to be with you.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah, we've read your books. We have been familiar with your work for a long time, but as we were talking a little bit before we pressed record, our paths have just never crossed. So we were really glad to have this opportunity.
Yeah.
That's great. Now we're old friends.
We are. That's right.
There you
Kind of
go.
opposite ends of the country, but yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are in California?
We're in Seattle.
Oh, you're in
Okay.
Seattle.
Yeah.
So I got the right part of the country over there, but
You're
a
right.
little further north.
So you state that when you learn your partner's dialect, you can avoid the #1 reason heartfelt love still misses the mark. Can you tell us more about that?
For sure. I mean, we all, most of us anyway, have benefited from understanding the love language concept. I mean, that in itself is just an eye-opener and a pathway to love. But what we discovered, and Gary along with us, Gary Chapman, of course, who created love languages, is that even when you know the love language of a person you want to love well, you can miss the mark. I mean, you can be working hard to love them and still find that their love tank isn't filling up because you're not speaking their dialect.
Yeah. So you'll hear a frustrated spouse say, I don't understand. I'm speaking her love language. It's acts of service. And her love tank's empty. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? And it was only after we began to do a whole lot of research, since we're social scientists and have been friends with Gary since he wrote the book, actually, and have studied it and used it so many times that we, over many meals with Gary, said, "What do you do about this problem?" He goes, "I know. We got to figure this out." And that led us to really dive into developing a whole lot of resources around this idea of taking 5 love to the next step.
Right.
For those that want to really love in a language that matters most to the person they're speaking with.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's cool. Yeah.
We've done love languages ourselves. We've been aware of them for a long, long time. It was very helpful for us. It's funny. We redid our love languages to prepare for this as well, because it'd been a while since we'd done the quiz. And the one that struck me the most, that hasn't changed in any way, shape, or form over our 42 years of marriage, is my gifts, my receiving and giving gifts, is at 0%, and it has been my entire life.
It has.
So that's a foreign love language for you. That doesn't communicate. Yeah.
Talk about that whole love languages changing. Talk about that. Is that normal?
Let's help our listeners, first of all, understand what you're talking about when you say I took the quiz. For the longest time, there was a free little quiz that took about 30 seconds to fill out a few questions, and it would help you understand which love language you fall into. I think what the two of you are talking about is the new premium assessment that takes about 20 minutes to answer a few questions and gives you a far more sophisticated perspective on your love languages. And that's where we started with Gary. And so it gives you a report that's about 10, 15 pages long and really delves into the specifics. So you don't only just know, hey, this is my love language, which is what the free quiz used to do, and still does. You can still take the free quiz, but it's just a real quick kind of, you probably know intuitively what your love language is just hearing about them.
Like your primary love language.
Right.
Yeah.
But what the premium assessment does is help you understand where you land on all 5 of the love languages. Why is that important? Because people in your life probably speak a love language that is foreign to you. So, Jill, if you're 0 on gifts, which is not unusual that someone has a 0 on a love language, because that is just something that either you grew up in an environment where that just was not an expression of love, or it was something that you saw backfire, or for whatever reason, it's just not on your radar. And it sounds like, Mark, your love language is also, when it comes to gifts, is also a foreign love language. Did you say 7%?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and people score lowest, of the 5 love languages, gifts is the lowest, the fewest number of people. Yeah. But for those that speak it, it's incredibly important. They want a tangible representation of the love that this person is expressing to them, even if it's not expensive, even if it's a little stick that they found on the ground that makes meaning. So something that's tangible. So people that are listening to us, you can take the assessment, the premium assessment, you can just Google 5 love languages premium assessment. But I just wanted people to know that's the context we're getting into. This is more like an X-ray of your whole capacity to love others, and it gives you so much value.
Oh yeah, because it's one thing to know what your primary love language is, or the person, the primary one of the person you're loving, but now you know what their secondary language is, and now you know how it all fits together, and maybe what isn't familiar to them or to you at all. And not only that, then it shows you exactly which dialect the person you're trying to love really responds to. And that is where you not just have a pathway to their heart, but you have a shortcut to filling their love tank, because you know exactly what connects.
And I'll just add on to that the reason this is important to us is, when you construct an assessment like this, and we do, we kind of specialize in assessments in many ways. Started over 25 years ago when we built eHarmony, the first ever online matching company. And to build a tool that would not just go, oh, I like this and you like that, so we must be a good match. It was,
or I think you're cute.
Yeah, right. It was built on, several dimensions, over a couple dozen dimensions that are really things. Energy level, for example. People don't go, oh, what's your energy level? You don't discover that on your first date. And so we really took the science of that to make that happen. We've done the same thing with 5 love languages to bring the sophistication of social science to this, so that we're really measuring what we say we're measuring, and we can do that with reliability. And that's where it all began with Gary. And that's what eventually turned into this book, the brand new book, The Love Language That Matters Most, because now we can unpack the dialects that make it so meaningful. So, Jill, I want to give our listeners context for the whole thing. Before we got into your question, I think your question was, what about love languages changing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's a good question, because unlike core personality, which, by the way, personality is addressed in this too, which is kind of fun, because up until now, nobody's ever talked about, well, how does personality, impact our love languages? And we really do look at that in this assessment in a big way.
In fact, it's the number one question that Gary told us he was getting out on the road when he'd speak on 5 Love. Hey, how does this factor into, my personality? Because I'm an introvert, he's an extrovert, or whatever the thing is. So we address that too.
But when it comes to love languages being constant or changing over time, it is, unlike personality, it can change. It can change with seasons. I, for one, am a mentor mom for what used to be called MOPS, Mothers of Preschoolers. Now it's called MomCo, for Mom Community. But I mean, talk about a season where maybe even if your love language was something like physical touch, right now, acts of service speaks loudly to you because of the context of your life, right? And so love languages can change over time. Often we don't really transform in a big way, like maybe something moves down on the list and it's not our primary. But there's a lot of, it's not static. There's a dynamism to love language.
Yeah, and the whole point is that the person that you're loving, you understand
Right.
the current love language that's most important to them. And some people, of course, are multilingual in love. They have
True.
3, primary love languages. And that sometimes makes it a little easier because, well, I can speak this language now and this language later, and it's still both of them fill up their love tank if I'm speaking the same dialect.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go back again and actually just give an overview of what the 5 love languages are so that people have some context. We jumped right in and started talking about them, but there's, I think so many people know about the love languages. It's kind of become a staple for relationships. But let's talk about each one so that there's just a brief overview of what those 5 love languages are.
Yeah, they're pretty ubiquitous. You'll see on the side of trucks in our home city of Seattle on Amazon trucks that say, next day delivery is our love language, right? You see that pretty much everywhere. And in fact, I was talking to somebody recently and they said, even Snoop Dogg talks about his love language. So it's...
So it's transcended.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so let's just list off the 5 here and comment on it. The first is words of affirmation. And this is represented by the person whose love tank is filled up because they are receiving words that meet their needs, that affirm them, right? That are encouraging them, that are compliments, that
Right.
are
Encouragements or appreciations.
Yes.
I saw what you did and I noticed it.
right.
Yeah.
So words of affirmation, then quality time.
Yeah, and quality time can be shaped by many things because we don't all experience time the same way. Some of us are focused on the future and we like to know the plan and create the plan. And other people, their time style is more about the here and now and their spontaneity, and they're improvising their life a little bit and they don't want to be boxed in by the plan. So even if, if quality time, which is undistracted time together in a
Right.
way that speaks your dialect, it can still vary quite a bit.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
in fact, and in the assessment in the book, we talk about the 4 dialects of time. We can come back to all these. But then next on the list is gifts, which we touched on briefly, but that is a tangible representation of the person's expression of love
Right.
to you. And some folks want extravagant gifts, and so they don't get them as often because the budget doesn't allow for that. But a whole lot of people are just like, no, it's not about the money. It's about the thought behind it. And so just something, it might be a card, but whatever it is, it's something that literally they can look at, hold, and it represents that love for them.
Right.
Right.
Even if it's simple, it's still tangible.
Right.
Yeah.
Acts of service is the next one. And this is an actual behavior that helps that person go, oh, I can't believe you would do that for me.
Right.
That's incredible. What a gift that you've given me right now to do that. And it might be something that saves them time, or it might be something that expresses care.
That's right. Yeah, or it just makes them feel like you've got my back. Like when I'm stressed, you perceive it and you start to pitch in, and I know we're on the same team.
Right. And that happens to be my love language.
Yeah.
And by the way, yours is words of affirmation.
Right.
And then the last of the 5 love languages is physical touch. And this is when a person feels love because of literally that skin-to-skin contact from the other person that gives them, and it doesn't have to be romantic or sexual. It's just something that it can be a high five, but they like to express that love through some kind of physical connection.
Well, and by the way, I'm glad you said that because there are even more dialects for physical touch than any of the other.
Yeah, that has 7 dialects.
Whoa,
Wow.
really?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Well, let's talk about the dialects now. So you said there's basically 4 dialects, but you obviously with physical touch, there's 7.
Well, no, just to be clear, every love language has a different number of dialects.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you got the number
okay.
4, but yeah. I think we might have said acts of service has 4 or something, but no, each love language has our time.
Time was the what?
Yeah,
You
right.
bet.
Mhm.
Yeah. So But yeah, so if you're, and I don't know if you guys have your own report in front of you.
We don't have the report, but we have the results. So I know our percentages.
Okay. So if you look at words of affirmation, there are 3 dialects with this: encouragement,
Right. And compliments and appreciation.
appreciation.
And
Which if this isn't your love language, you go, aren't those all the same?
Yeah.
No, it's a fine slicing of thing. And just to carry out the metaphor, in fact, we were just with Gary 2 days ago in Nashville, and I said to Gary something about, when it comes to dialects, you realize, Gary, he's from South Carolina,
Right.
with a very nice, beautiful Southern
as
drawl.
you know,
He does.
well.
He
And I
does.
said, Gary, I grew up in Boston. I said, they don't talk like you in Boston. And they don't talk like you in the valley outside of Los Angeles either, right? Every place has its own dialect.
Right.
And so and if you're from that place in particular, even if you're not, that sounds different to my ear. Same thing with the love languages. So encouragement, appreciation.
Yeah. And actually, this one hit home because, as you already mentioned, words of affirmation is my primary love language. And you thought you had dialed it in and were dishing it out for me and filling my love tank.
Yeah, and like you guys, we read the Purple Book from when it first came out, and went, oh, this is perfect. And you were identifying it with, this is your love language, and so I thought,
Right.
okay, I'm just going to encourage you. I became like a walking Hallmark card. I was just like encouragement, 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 and
You can do it. I believe in you.
Right.
You're gifted.
And it turns out that wasn't filling up her love tank, and we'd get so frustrated along the way until we understood the value of dialects, because her dialect is not encouragement. In fact, that almost created a love leak in her love tank, because what happened is it created pressure. Like, oh, he thinks I'm supposed to be doing this because he's, that's where his words of encouragement are.
Yeah, he's telling me I must step up and do this because he thinks I can, and I don't want to do it. I feel pressure.
But your dialect is?
My dialect is compliments, so if he can notice, a moment where I'm in action and something really stood out to him.
I can just say something like, oh, I noticed a couple hours ago you were interacting with our son Jackson, and that was a brilliant piece of parenting that you did right there. I just wanted you to know I noticed that, right? That's a word of affirmation. That's a compliment.
Right. And that reservoir in my soul fills right up with a
So you can see how a compliment's very different than encouragement. And she might like encouragement every once in a while. It's not like it's abhorrent to her necessarily, but it's not the dialect for her when it comes to speaking words of affirmation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Words is your second.
Right.
So we're going to have to go back and take a look at it and see
Yeah.
exactly which dialect. Does one of them jump out at you? Encouragement, appreciation, compliments?
Yes.
Which one?
All of
I want to
them.
know.
Yeah. I think encouragement and appreciation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to go and take a look at
Quality time kind of raised up for me on the bar, but I think
you used to words was your number one,
right.
and quality, and then physical touch was your number two. But now
Yeah.
quality time is at the top.
Yep. And I think it's my own inner work that I've been doing. I'm just much more secure, and our season of life is very different with being empty nesters, and I've settled into that, and so I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quality time right now is your number one.
Right.
So quality time has four dialects, and you can really, and when you take the premium assessment for 5 Love, it will show you this in an infographic, so you can literally see
Yeah.
how that factors out. And by the way, the point of this is not to lock anybody in or label them or force them into a space that doesn't
Glad
feel
you
right.
said that.
But and that's why so many times in looking at the dialects, we show you the priority. It's not,
Mhm.
don't speak this dialect. No, it's just that's only 12%. So if you really want to hit the mark,
Right.
focus on this. But it first has to do with, are you scheduled or unscheduled when it comes to time? So, Mark, are you more scheduled or unscheduled? Do you have a calendar that you refer to several times throughout the day to make sure that you're on track?
Yes, which is new for me. I used to be much more spontaneous, but I like the schedule because I don't want to. I want to be in sync with expectations.
Okay. And then the other continuum is, are you present oriented or future
Future.
oriented? Are you energized by the here and now or the there and then, the things that are about to happen?
I would say the here and now.
Okay. Well, you will know for sure when you look at your report because it'll show you exactly where you land. And that will give you some sense of, for example, if you're present oriented and unscheduled, you're kind of an improviser with time. That happens to be how Leslie experiences quality time. Unscheduled. Why would I want to book everything up? Because what if the sun is shining in Seattle and the mountains are out and it's gorgeous? That's going to change my whole schedule today, right?
Right.
So they improvise with their time. Whereas a planner who's future oriented and scheduled, it's like, I don't care if it's sunny. This is what we have on the books. This is what we're doing, right?
And you're very energized by looking ahead and having the future
Right.
pinned down. But if you genuinely are present oriented and scheduled, you're, and I heard you describe that you want to be where the expectations align. So for someone like that, you're managing your time in order to be fully present at the time you promised. And so you move deliberately, but you're only thinking about here and now.
Right.
You know, what I promised for this hour.
Yeah.
So
Some people are dreamers when it comes to time. That's their dialect. They just are all about the future and very unscheduled. And let's imagine where we might go on vacation and what's our bucket list look like. And they just get energized by that.
and they don't necessarily need to have the plane reservations. They just like the dream.
Just like talking
Yeah.
about it. Absolutely. So,
Right.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So my number one is acts of service. So let's talk a little bit about the dialects of acts of service.
You bet.
So acts of service, there are 4 dialects for acts of service, and I'll just list them off for you. There's saving time, there is alleviating stress,
Right.
there is instilling security, and conveying care.
Right.
Those 4 things.
Now, this is a good example in our life because acts of service is your number one. And I immediately interpreted that before we understood dialects as just little acts of care. You know, it might be to turn down the bed at night if Les needed to stay up late and work or whatever. And he would barely even notice I'd done it. I thought I'm loving him so well. But I'll tell you what really does fill your love tank, and I know it from the feedback, is
Saving time.
yeah.
Anytime I can, if she or anybody else in my life and people that work with us on our team know, man, if you can save Les some time, he is going to love it. So just the other day, I had a little package I needed to get in the mail, but it needed some special attention at the post office. And so I just put it on the entry table and Leslie said, what's this? And I said, oh, I got to mail that sometime tomorrow. And I went back to my study and did some work. I came out, I don't know, a few hours later, and the package wasn't there. And I said, hey, where'd the package go? She goes, oh, I took it for you down to the, are you kidding me? What a gift, right? She just saved me probably an hour and a half of my time having to drive and do all the rest. That really fills up my love tank. So that's an example of the dialect of saving time. Very different than expressing care. Was it expressing care? For sure.
Right.
But it was based in saving me some time.
Right.
And that's a real gift.
Yeah. And that alleviating stress thing might be when I noticed that you've all of a sudden got a crisis at work, but you'd made a promise to cook dinner tonight or, you know, drop the kids off or whatever it is. I don't wait. I step in and I take over because I see that you're, have an extraordinary burden. That can be an act of service that really speaks that dialect.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I think that that's probably my dialect. What do you think?
Yeah,
Dave?
I think so. Actually, both of those, saving you time and
Alleviating stress.
Alleviating stress.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it probably, the saving time is right up there because efficiency is like super important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do things efficiently. That's super important. But so when somebody saves me time, that like,
I think we've kind of fallen into a good rhythm with that without even knowing it, without having the words to describe it.
I love that. Just that organic sense that you guys have earned the right to really know each other well. One we haven't highlighted is instill security. And those are the acts of service that are meaningful because it's like, you can count on the person loving you to be dependable. They've promised they're always going to pay the bills, or they're always going to gas up the car, or always lock up and make sure the home is secure. And you don't ever doubt they're going to do those things. They have got it, dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, you guys, this is really helpful for us to understand it even more. And I think that for those that are going to be listening to this is going to be super helpful for them to think about love languages in such a broader perspective and have a better understanding. It's not as simple as, oh, you need to throw a few words of encouragement your spouse's way if words is at the top of their list. Is like, find out what kind of words make the difference to them.
Exactly.
So you guys actually say that there is one very important question we can ask that'll improve our love life. What is that very important question?
Well, the important question as it relates to this is how full is your love tank? And when you can ask your partner that question and simply say on a scale of 1 to 10, how full is your love tank right now? And we say, make this a habit, make it a routine. Sunday nights after dinner, whatever it is, just to once a week at least, check in with how full is your love tank. And if it's anything less than a 10, you follow that with another question. And that question is, what can I do to help make your love tank fill up more this week, right? That little conversation right there can be an incredible, as simple as it is, can be an incredible game changer for couples, whether they're in distress or whether they're thriving. It's a great question for everybody.
That's right. And the love tank, of course, is just a metaphor for just that feeling in our heart and soul that we're well loved. And so we feel just fulfilled and energized. And we understand that our partner's leaning into us. Love tanks are very interesting because they're not a one size fits all. Everyone has their own size of a love tank. Some of them, empty very quickly, and others are full and can hold for a long time. But there are certain things we know that can create like love leaks, actually. Like a critical comment, one critical comment can create a love leak. And we know from really great research that's been done by Dr. John Gottman and others that it takes about 5 positive, compliments, appreciations, genuine words of connection to undo that love leak in the tank.
Yes.
So, in fact, it's called the magic ratio, and it matters. But you need to really understand, how quickly does the person I'm loving, it's not just for a spouse. We can love our kids well. We can love other people in our lives, friendships. But how quickly does their tank empty so that we're sort of really aware how to go about loving them well?
Is there a reason that some people's love tanks empty quicker than others?
Well, there's one primary reason, and that is just how they grew up. It's your family of origin and how love was expressed or not expressed in your home. And that has a lot to do with shaping our love language in general. But if you grew up in a home where, there was more negative than positive, that's going to probably increase a pretty needy love tank. And that means that the person that you're with needs to be aware of that. And some people get frustrated with that. But it's so easy to keep someone's love tank filled once you understand.
Right.
Because we're not talking about grand gestures here. This is not like, let's save up. Oh, I need to Google this. I need to understand that. I got to read this, that, and the other thing. No, it's in the small things that are happening in your daily interaction.
Right.
And once you begin to notice that difference, it can't help but to change the dynamic between the two of you, because suddenly there's some mutual empathy. Suddenly there's more gratitude. Suddenly there's more joy and contentment in the relationship because guess what? My love tank is full.
That's right. And personality has a little bit of an impact on love tank, size. Again, this is just a metaphor,
Right.
for
Right.
feeling deeply loved. But one of the things I love about the concept of a love tank is knowing that it is synergistic and contagious. In other words, when you really make an effort to fill someone's love tank, your spouse, then their full love tank splashes back to you, because people who feel really loved love easily and love well. So there's this beautiful contagion and synergy that happens when you make a decision, not as a formula, not to get love back, but just to be faithful and fill that love tank.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
We-
makes a lot of sense.
We discovered that as well.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead.
Sometimes it can feel like, though, that, gosh, this is just moving targets, and I can feel like I'm not being successful. How can we be assured we're moving in the right direction?
What do you mean this can be moving targets? I'm not following you.
Well, like there's so many different components, and what if I'm a guy who's easily overwhelmed with do this, do that, this works, this doesn't. How can I be encouraged that I'm moving in the right direction?
I love your question. Number one, this is designed to actually make it easy, because now you can hit the bullseye.
I like easy.
You not only know that she lights up whenever you do an act of service, but if it saves her time or conveys, security, alleviates stress, she is going to feel the most loved. It is like a direct shortcut to her heart. So you don't have to waste time meandering around trying to hit the target. So that's one thing. The other thing about love is that it's not about being perfect at all. We're going to miss chances. We're going to miss the mark. That's just humanness. But it is just about practicing love, just being persistent and faithful.
Yeah. And you will fail, right?
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. Nobody loves perfectly. It's just not humanly possible. So, but Mark, when you say, there's so much to understand and so forth. No, you're not getting it yet if you're feeling that, because the cookies are on the bottom shelf here. Here's her love language. Here's her dialect. Now you know what to do. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
So it may sound complicated because we're saying, and there's 4 dialects for this and 7 for touch and so forth. But once you understand yours,
right.
It may feel a little bit like you go to Cheesecake Factory and look at the menu and there's too much food to choose from. But once you zero in, I'm looking for pasta. Oh, here's the pasta section.
Yeah.
I can breathe deeper. I know what I want. So it's the same way with love languages. Once you zero in on how this person gives and receives love, it's super easy. Cookies on the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love that.
That makes sense.
Well, and I want to go back for a moment to the love leak thing that you were talking about. And when you said something to the effect of, like harsh words, one of the things we probably need to be aware of is that love will, like, words is my 4th. I was 13% for words, right?
Yeah.
And it's his number 2. He was 30%. So there's a disconnect there that I don't naturally speak that because I don't need it. Correct? But then the other piece that I think we found, and I'd love your thoughts on this, but so harsh words mean even like they suck his love tank down.
They don't just leak.
Yeah.
It takes the bottom out.
Yeah.
Versus like harsh words to me is they roll off of me a little bit more. But the harsh words to him, because words is right up there at the top for him, that's a bigger deal, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so being sensitive, and that's where empathy comes in, right?
Right.
Here's the issue with love languages. Everybody, 20 million people bought and read the Purple Book, right? and the 5 love languages. And what most people do, because it's just in our human nature, is to go, there it is. That's how you love me. Okay, speak words of affirmation. Hey, physical touch for me, whatever it is. And we just focus on ourselves. What we're saying is you're missing half of the equation to love because you're only focused on you. And so we think, oh yeah, your love language. And we know this from research because you can ask people, what's your love language? Oh, what are the 5 again? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I'm words of affirmation. And then they go, what is your partner's love language?
Right.
And that's the one we need to be knowing more than ours even.
Exactly.
That's the one that matters most.
Yes.
Here's what we know from replicated research all over the place. The happiest couples on this planet are couples that are enjoying mutual empathy, that capacity to see the world from each other's perspective. And 5 love language is nothing more than an easy on-ramp to empathy.
That's right.
And so when you can not just, and knowing your love language is important. It's not just a selfish thing, that's self-awareness, right? But to just stop there, you're missing out on love. Because when you also go, okay, now let me understand yours, and you have a little bit of curiosity about them, that's when everything turns around. And so that's the gift. And this assessment, this premium assessment, is what makes it so easy. In fact, the very last page of the report has something that we are hearing from so many people that have taken this now. And it's just a summary. And it's how to love Mark, how to love Jill. And it's just a 1-page summary. And what we discovered is all over the country and beyond, people are taking that 1 page and taping it to the door of their refrigerator. And it's kind of like going, you want to know how to love me? It's right there. When you're getting the pudding out of the refrigerator, be reminded, this is how you love me, right? So it's a really nice way to make this super easy and so accessible to people and enjoy mutual empathy.
Yeah, I love that.
That's
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for taking the time to really open this up, explain it to us. Super excited about your book, The Love Languages That Matter Most. Is that correct? Did I say the title?
Love language that matters most. And the answer to that is the love language that matters most is the love language of the person in front of you. And particularly your partner, but it could be your kids, it could be your in-laws, it could be a good friend or your small group members. But the love language that matters most is the person's love language that you're speaking with.
I love it. So
That's
good.
cool.
Where's the best place for people to find you guys online and connect with you?
Well, I know it's available at a little bookstore called Amazon for sure. And pretty much anywhere else books are sold. So, but people can find it at, our website, lessonleslie.com, and certainly at our publisher's website. If you just Google 5 love languages, you'll find the website. But make sure you put in the word premium, the premium assessment, because I want people to realize this is the most revolutionary tool for love that I know of, because it opens it up in a way that we couldn't do this with just paper and pencil. It's because of the technology that we have. 40,000 different variables go into this report. So everybody's report is unique to them. And when you get that, and we didn't have time to touch on it, but it'll also factor in your personality. And like I said, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Because how you express words of affirmation for an extrovert can be very different than for an introvert.
That's right.
An introvert would be so embarrassed if you celebrate me in a public space with, all kinds of attention and so forth. Whereas the extrovert is like, the more people, the better they hear my compliments. Bring them on, right? So we factor in all that and make it super easy to understand. But yeah, anywhere books are sold, people can find the love language that matters most.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm going to mention one other thing that is a free gift to anybody that's listening. And this is a tool that is new, and it'll take you just 3 minutes, but you will love it. And I won't take time to explain it, but just to get it out there for folks that want to know, go to myheartchart.com, myheartchart.com. And without any explanation, it's a free gift to you. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to join anything. but you will enjoy it. myheartchart.com.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll put a link, all of those websites that were just mentioned. We will have links to those in the show notes. So if you're listening to this, or you're not in a place to have written those down, that's fine. Just check out the show notes and you'll be able to click over to all the resources that we just mentioned.
Yep.
So Les and Leslie, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
So fun,
appreciate
Mark
being
and
on.
Joe.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciated the conversation. And would you be willing to pray for our listeners?
Yeah, let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for your presence with us and the special grace you give us when we try in your strength to love the people in our life really well. And I just pray for every marriage and every relationship represented by our listeners, that your spirit would remind us of these tools that can be so helpful in loving effectively in your name. Bless us as we love for you and through your strength. Amen.
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 Amen.